Hey besties, I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
And welcome to the Book Besteas Podcast,
where the books are good, the takes are honest,
and the tea is always hot.
Today, we are chatting about A Court of Thorns and Roses, Book 1 of the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, first impressions.
I need to be honest. I did not like it.
Okay.
It was very slow, the beginning. It was very slow. I couldn't get into it. There were a lot of parts that are necessary in the beginning. That doesn't make sense until the end. Like, fine, whatever. It will make sense. So trust the process.
Trust the process.
But it was definitely a tough read for me.
Okay. I am on the opposite end of the spectrum. I loved it at the time. I will say it was very much Beauty and the Beast, but you warned me. So she's the one who got me into this whole series.
I'm always the one who gets you into something.
I know. She puts the books on our list, so you have her to thank.
So DM me for whatever books that you want us to read.
Absolutely, and then we'll be on the shelf. So she got me started with it. She told me that trust the process, and I did. And I loved it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess the second question for today is, did Book Talk overhype this?
Well, you were the one who got me into it. So do you think it overhyped it?
Right, okay, so the series is one of my Roman empires. So I would say it was justified.
Okay.
It was justified.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
What
the
about
verdict.
you?
Well, I didn't watch much Book Talk because I didn't want spoilers.
Mhm.
You know I'm a no spoiler girl.
I don't mind spoilers, so
Yeah, we're
again,
opposites on that
spoil it.
too.
Spoil everything.
So I didn't look at Book Talk. I just said, that's going to tell me to do it. I'm going to do it. And it was more than worth.
I am the biggest influencer.
Yes, she is.
I feel like it's very important to note too, before we continue this, that this is actually our first ever episode that we're together in person.
That is right. We should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's release we are releasing some special reels.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for that because you're going to love it.
Okay. So let's talk about Feyre, our beautiful, strong FMC. But what were your takes since, you didn't enjoy it as much as we thought you would?
I love Feyre.
Okay.
She's actually the reason why I got through the book.
All right.
Yeah. I love Feyre. I think one of my favorite FMC.
Of all time. Okay, everyone, you hear that?
Yeah.
All time. But what?
I mean, not my most favorite, but
one
of them.
One of up there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How so?
I think that she's very resourceful.
Yes, she is very resourceful.
Let's talk about the one thing about her is she cannot read.
Right. She cannot read, but she learned how to fight, how to hunt on her own, how to swim.
She's very smart.
Very smart. And she is very loyal.
Absolutely.
She'll do anything to protect the ones who she loves, her sisters, her dad.
Even if circumstances are not that good.
No, and not that good's an understatement.
Absolutely.
And so I love that about her, that she was able to rise above the whole situation and not to feel a strong sense of resentment toward her family, even though she was very deserving or she at least had every right to feel that way.
Absolutely. I mean, she was in survival mode the whole time.
Right.
And yet, you're right. She never resented anyone.
Right.
She had to survive it all in a way that she can.
Yep.
As much as she could give.
Yep.
Even saving other people.
Even if that meant killing beings. And that was when her first time, that probably was a huge shock and pivotal moment for her, really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I also felt is I fell in love with her despite her flaws. Clearly she, as we learn going on in her time in Spring Court, that she has a lot of insecurities. But at the same time... Oh, you don't think so?
No, just expand.
Okay. I feel because she felt so unloved at home by her mother, her siblings, and her dad, that she never understood why she never thought she could be loved or should be loved. Okay. And so that led to a few insecurities. And she started taking it out on Tamlin and on Lucien when she arrived because she was thinking she didn't deserve this, this space and time to paint and read. And I think that it's not necessarily a flaw. It's from her upbringing, but it allowed her to have a good foundation for humility and the ability to constantly learn and take feedback well.
Okay.
And I think despite her insecurity, she was very self-aware.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she would catch herself during those moments when she would start taking it out on Tamlin, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And even more than just being self-aware, it's also like being aware of whatever outside thing is going on.
Yes. Contextual awareness.
Absolutely. And like, seeing every beings there is. She's very aware of that. She's aware of like the maid, of Lucien, of Tamlin, even the guy who died.
Yeah.
And even the culture that the Spring Court has, or like the Fae has, like she's very much like very willing to learn
Yes.
about them.
And to integrate and not to judge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there was quite a journey, and we'll talk about a little bit more about their dynamic as a couple.
Yeah.
But aside from their dynamic, I think she was trying her best to understand this Fae's sense of morality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
And then I think that also translated, which is another thing last thing I really love about her is the way she perceives art. She's not just a painter. She doesn't just create. She can really find inspiration and joy.
Oh, hey, laughing.
You started smiling.
I don't know.
You're smiling, so then I smiled back.
Okay, so do you actually think that Feyre is a good painter? Book 1.
I don't know. I don't know the quality of her painting. I just know that she feels deeply about art.
How do you imagine her painting?
Maybe like middle school level, because she's never been trained. And she's had very few opportunities to paint anyway because she didn't have the money for supplies. But the way she can appreciate the Fae art, be able to see how she put it, the bend to the world that the Fae art had, I thought that was really special. And I just loved the way that she could find so much joy in something. And I want to be able to find that joy in something for myself. I thought that was inspirational. But yeah, okay, so Tamlin.
Tamlin who?
Enough said.
Seriously.
We've erased him from our memory, apparently.
Oh, God. Tamlin. Okay. In the context of book 1.
Book 1.
I thought Tamlin was dreamy, overprotective already, but in a good sense at first.
Yes.
And then soft.
Okay. Expand
soft.
Yeah.
Expand soft.
Yes.
I think because he was helping her family. And to me, that seems like, for obviously someone who is cursed.
Right.
Someone who's cursed, he still found that urge within him to take care of Feyre's family and to take care of Feyre as well.
Right. Yeah.
And like being able to also give her comfort stuff, paint and just like, books. She doesn't even read.
I know, but he gave her space in the library. Yeah. So I felt the same about Tamlin.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably felt even harder about him than you did.
You fell hard for Tamlin?
Oh, yeah. Guys, I would have been okay if this was a one book in and of itself and not even a series. Yes. Until, we'll get to the whole series discussion later. But by the end of this book, I was like, they could be endgame. I would be happy. Like,
No
welcome to the
way.
sunset. Be your Beauty and the Beast. I'm good. Masks are off. Body is tea.
Well, I would agree with Tamlin seemed to be like body is tea, dreamy guy.
Yes.
But I just always felt like there has to be something more for Feyre.
For sure. It could be, yes. So how I perceived it was she had to go through so much with her family to go hunting, take care of them, like always on the verge of hunger. Now that he's provided for them, and then she could finally have her freedom to be away from them and then to live. I know this might be a hot take, but the soft life, the soft girl life, just be pampered for the rest of her life. Like,
wait, you thought that was actually going to be Feyre's life?
Well, no, I mean, I knew it wasn't because it's a whole series. But if it were just the book, I'd be happy with that ending. I would be happy for her. I feel like she's earned that.
Okay.
But I can see though, and obviously we know in the series that there's so much more for Feyre.
Let's talk about Tamlin's loyal right hand. Lucien, everyone. I thought it was going to be a love triangle at first.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What made you feel like that?
Well, it was also because of the description of Lucien.
Body's tea.
Body's tea. I thought it was cute.
The banter was there.
I thought that even at first, Feyre has more sort of like chemistry with Lucien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I did notice that because Tamlin was almost never there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think he was more distant.
More distant, for sure. He was hiding things.
Mhm.
I see. Okay.
Because like Tamlin didn't really become like a thing until he was, there was already tension between them.
That's true. I felt like they could be really, really good friends. I could. Until I got the feeling that, hey, actually he's doing everything for her only because of Tamlin. And then I felt a little bit depressed. Or not depressed, that's a strong word. A little bit disappointed. I feel like, what's Lucien beyond Tamlin? Who is he really? Because he seems to have he seems to be straightforward. Like, he'll tell her what's ever on his mind, but what he does, though, is always in context of, will Tamlin be happy? Will Tamlin be safe? Will Tamlin get in trouble? Yeah, that's what I want. I want that, for sure. With Lucien, I was like, I hope that's not the end for him.
And it's not.
And it's not. And it's not.
And it's still not.
And it's still not.
Jump into it. Rhysand.
I mean, I just see the glow and the sparkle in your eyes.
Star.
And is it star eyes?
Starry-eyed.
How about hard eyes?
Starry because night
court.
court.
Okay.
Okay, so
Fine.
he's one of your top book boyfriends, if not the
Absolutely. Second.
Second?
Oh, wait, no, not really.
maybe third,
Third.
but still very much
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
So dreamy, Rhysand. But what were your first impressions of him?
When Rhys first showed up, I was like, oh. There's like an immediate shift of energy that I was like looking for in the book. Like it was fine because I liked Feyre. I stayed for her. Then I was like, is this our guy?
You saw it coming.
Yeah.
I did not.
You did not. I did. Yeah. There's something about him that's like, seems dangerous. No, it seemed like to me, I was like, oh, like there's some danger in here. Excitement.
That's true.
Yeah. Challenge.
I could see that. Yeah, there's always an edge to him, many layers.
Yeah.
That's how I perceived him.
Mysterious.
To unfold Rhysand, this could hardly be the end then. That's why I was like, okay, well, there's got to be a series.
Right.
Yeah, him and Lucien, there's got to be more.
There has to be more.
Yeah, and the fact that there weren't that many characters.
For book one, yeah. Not
One,
yeah.
which I actually maybe want to discuss a little bit more because I feel like that is an interesting take on a book because she knew it was going to be a series, but then it seems like she wanted to keep it tight, pretty tight. Do you feel that, or did you have a different take?
I think it's the setup book for sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just like more. Would you say it's more like prequel or still like book one?
I think it's still book one.
Okay, book one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still book one. Well, do you have any other things to say for Rhysand?
Well, yes, but I guess I'll just say one last thing is that I feel like it's very hard for him to trust people. And for him to have opened up to Feyre about what he did, about like him struggling and actually having basically a full-on panic attack in front of her was a big deal. That was a pivotal moment, I feel, for the relationship, which then translates to plot conversation. Yeah. So I feel like Under the Mountain was such a big thing. If we're talking about Rhysand, that's really the moment where they started to get to know each other on a much deeper level, figuratively and literally, in terms of like going, how did you feel about them Under the Mountain versus their initial meeting? Like, did things change or did it just develop from there?
I think to me, it developed.
Okay.
I think it's like he already like knew about this girl.
Yeah.
And he was even more intrigued. And the fact that, to me, it's the contrast between Tamlin just sitting there by Amarantha's side versus Rhysand actually like doing something as much as he can, even if he's also still cursed.
Yes. That is a key thing that I'm glad you reminded me about that dynamic of like action versus inaction. And it was such in stark comparison that I almost started feeling like, Tamlin, come on, what are you even doing?
Yep.
And so then pivoting slightly into now Tamlin and Feyre's relationship Under the Mountain versus above. How did you feel? Did you feel that it shifted?
Tamlin's?
Yeah, with Feyre's.
Absolutely. I think that Tamlin was dreamy. He's sweet. He was sweet. And then all of a sudden under the mountain, he seemed like he doesn't even know Feyre at all.
Yes. And I feel like the book tried to frame it as though he was protecting her. But then we have the moment of him bringing her into the room and like mad kissing her, almost getting both of them killed, right? And if it wasn't for Rhysand.
Also making out with Feyre.
Yes, which
Okay.
we all enjoy that moment. I guess he got some nice touching.
Wait, okay, so when Feyre kissed Tamlin, and then also after a quick second, she kissed Rhysand. Like, who did you ship with Feyre?
Oh, that was tough. After that, I almost shifted to Rhysand. I was so upset with Tamlin. I was like,
you still
would've
didn't
messed up.
shift because you said you almost shift.
I almost shift. I still didn't shift.
So it was still Tamlin.
It was still Tamlin. I know.
Wow.
That's a hot take right there. I know a lot of people shifted. Probably you included, right? Or you were already like beyond.
Yeah.
Even before.
Yeah.
That. But yeah, I almost shifted.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
And I just kept, I think it's probably a little toxic for me to think about it this way. But this is the way I thought at the time, mind you, at the time, not now. That if I just kept referring to the time when he let her go. He let her choose to leave without saying I love you.
Okay.
And she left. He protected her from coming to Under the Mountain, but then she decided to come back and save him. So after that, in my mind was like, oh, I let you leave. You really want to make this work with me. Then like, I guess this is the situation we're in now. But I still was really mad at him because he almost messed it up completely. Just for what? A kiss? It was selfish. Yeah. So Calanmai.
This was the first time that Rhysand met Feyre, right?
Yes. Big deal. Big deal.
Big deal. There you are. I've been looking for you. Okay. You see, I think that the fact that Rhysand was the most beautiful guy Feyre has ever seen, in a sense, kind of give it away.
That's
for me.
true.
And then also protecting Feyre in a sense of like, oh, like she's with me,
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, there has to be something with this guy.
Yeah. Or at least he's not as bad as he makes himself out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just never really saw him to be the bad guy.
Okay.
I think we've read so many of this like fantasy guys that they're like more like morally gray, but it's still like he's not a bad guy.
Yeah. And actually the more they seem like they're a bad guy at the beginning, possibly the nicer they are, like the kinder they are at least as a partner. Maybe not outside of their relationship, but at least in the relationship.
Especially as a High Lord, though. I feel like any sort of guy in leadership might have that, like, side of them that may seem like very strong, and they're probably very
dominant.
Yeah, on the outside.
Yeah.
And unfaltering, I guess, is a term too. It's like you can never convince this guy.
Resolute. Firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very apt. And I think it actually still applies to him, which is a good balance, is what you're saying, right? He could play both the High Lord who will make decisions and follow through with it, lead his people, make hard decisions at that. But at the same time, be soft in their relationship, be able to open up and be vulnerable in the relationship.
For sure.
Which is a beautiful thing. And then at the same time, that same night, we have the Rite.
Yeah.
And Lucien is trying to help Tamlin stay away from Feyre because he might try to take her despite, his best interest or like his resolution, if you will. I feel like that was also another moment that was kind of testing my resolve around Tamlin as the end game. Because in comparison, right, Rhysand is giving her a choice and helping her out in a very indirect way, allowing her to feel like, oh, I have freedom. Versus Tamlin is like, he's pure beast. But I guess that brings us maybe to a slight tangent of, in fantasy, we have to get used to this concept, or maybe we don't, of some beings are made to be that way. Do you think Tamlin is made to be a beast?
I think he can shapeshift anyways.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So he can shapeshift into like one being.
Yes.
I think that the reason why we see him as a beast most of the time is because he chooses to shapeshift to a beast.
Okay, interesting. I agree with you.
Given the background that, like his family also had, I think that he hides behind the beast form.
Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. And then that translates to other parts of his life too. In the way that he manages Tamlin, the bog, all of the other lesser creatures or lesser fae. Yeah.
What did you think of the Rite?
The Rite itself, the concept of it. I feel like it makes sense for their court or maybe even Autumn court because they're just so tied with nature.
But what about the fact that they have to like sleep with someone?
Yeah. I mean, I have to put on my fantasy lens in that regard, in the sense that it's like if beasts in the wild choose to mate, like that's just going to happen. But at the same time, if we take our humanity lens and put that on as well, obviously it feels very strange that females would willingly actually sign up to essentially, well, I mean, if they're giving consent, is it still assault? I don't know.
I wouldn't say it's assault, but I think just the idea of it to me is like reading about it is just like, do we actually need this for the storyline?
I think we do. I think we do because it introduces it also goes back to the concept of him hiding behind being a beast. I think it brings to the surface the question of, is it really him making a choice to actively participate in the rite? Because as High Lord, maybe he could banish it. Maybe he could change things and shift the court itself, given he's the only one in power. But he chooses to follow certain traditions, well, actually, that's in another book. But he chooses to follow certain traditions that perhaps he can change, but he decides not to. And so maybe he has a lot more agency than he's letting himself off to be. And I think that is another testament to his character and actually a ding on his character.
Okay.
And the fact that he makes do it later on, right? Or is that another book? Did I just spoil?
Yeah. For someone who don't like spoilers, you spoil a lot.
I know, man.
Okay. Well, let's go back under the mountain.
Okay.
Let's talk about the trials, the riddle, thoughts.
I did not get it. I was just like, what?
I tried so hard.
I didn't try.
I tried so hard. And for the answer to be love, really? Like, I thought it was going to be, like, harder than that. I'd be so serious right now.
Okay, be honest. How much time did you spend trying?
Probably a good 3 minutes.
Oh, that's still more time than I put. I put 0.
Yeah, you put 0.
I just was like,
you didn't even try.
I didn't try.
It was whatever. I tried. I was like, okay, what is this? And then I went to the next page and I was like, let me check it again one more time. And then I'm like, okay, I couldn't do it. Next, the worm.
I actually like put a lot of thought into the worm, like how
to kill the worm.
How to kill the worm, and I was actually trying to imagine to what that pit or that maze looked like, and how she was scaling the wall of bones, how she was like jumping around. It was wild, and I found that to be really exciting. But also,
yeah,
that's actually probably the first time she's been like on the brink of death in this book, right? And like there's a bog and other creatures, but she was also saved.
I would say so. When she used those bones, like it was really smart. That is like street smart. Resourceful smart.
Yes. It was demonstrative of her being able to survive outside of Spring Court despite what Tamlin or Lucien may make her think that she's got to be protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the killing of the 3 fairies. So 2 fairies plus Tamlin.
I was really torn. I could tell by that time she really wanted to like
kill herself.
And I think that it was tough for her because by that point she really fell in love with a lot of the Fae. She fell in love with the whole Spring Court and its world and its being. So it was in stark contrast to when she was in survival mode as a human needing to kill creatures for food. It was different. And I think because she came to save, it also felt contradictory because it's like, oh, I'm saving one being, or I'm saving, I guess, this group of people, but then have to kill. Like, what moral choice do I make? And that's why I think the only conclusion at the moment was for her to kill herself in her mind.
Right.
Yeah.
But it truly doesn't make sense if you've already killed 2 Fae and then just like all of a sudden kill yourself because you don't want to kill Tamlin. It's kind of selfish.
Well, because you don't want to kill Tamlin, yes. But I think for her, I don't think she even would have lived. Even if Tamlin wasn't in the 3, she still would have killed herself. You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's why like Rhysand is for me more compatible with Feyre.
Ooh, how so?
I think she could live with doing what's necessary. I think the thing I love the most with Feyre is she could do the worst thing, but she could make herself acknowledge it and move forward from it. Like, we go back again to like the concept of like her not resenting herself or like the beings around her because of whatever circumstance that she faced. It's the same with that. Like she has to do the things that necessary, but she wouldn't blame it on herself or the other people around her, and that she would find ways to move forward. I don't want to spoil it, but like the way others, try to cope up with like the things that happen to them. Like she would never just blame someone else that she was faced in that situation. Unlike other people would be like, you did this to me.
Play victim.
Yeah. I'd never seen her play victim.
I would agree on that part. I would agree that she's never played victim. I do feel like, though, she did resent herself a lot with her choices, even though it wasn't her fault.
I mean, I think she did, but only to an extent.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't think to a point that she would actually kill herself.
I think she would have.
I think maybe because the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the compatibility of her being in Spring Court would make her feel like she's a total disaster. But in the right environment, I think.
You thought that at the time, book 1.
I didn't think she would
stay.
She would kill herself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For real.
All right. We'll agree to disagree.
I also feel like it changed her so much already.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like post Under the Mountain, we don't see that change yet because she was being locked into this sort of box environment of the Spring Court, or like being the same Feyre that would probably have the sadness. But like, she's ought to be more than that. And I feel like that's why if she just embraced that new person, she wouldn't really be the type of person who would kill herself. Am I making sense?
I was thinking context of the book, though, right now, at least. And at the time, I could not see that.
Yeah. I think the fact that she became Fae and stuff, I already knew.
But it wasn't her choice to become Fae. So her becoming Fae, right? Mm-hmm. She essentially dies. And then Rhysand holds her soul. The other High Lords then imbue her with their magic, and then she gets reborn as Fae. So at that time, I felt like they were making a decision on her behalf, which is good because I was like, I didn't want her to die. I knew because it's a series, she's not going to die. But at that time, what were you thinking?
I don't like it when it becomes a question of like, but you didn't really make me choose, because like you cannot choose. You're dead. How could you choose?
Yeah.
It's either you stay dead, like there's no way you can make a choice. Like making you Fae is necessary so that you may make a choice. Well, then if you don't want to be Fae, then kill yourself.
That's true. I mean, Fae could still die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was, I felt like it was necessary, but she didn't get to choose. So then.
Actually, I think that the fact that you were resurrected is already the chance for you to make a choice. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're dead, then there's no choice.
Yeah.
Then someone made the choice for you too, because someone killed you.
That's true. You could still kill yourself afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Being killed or being resurrected are both not your choice anyways.
It's true.
So the only pathway to make a choice is to live and then make that choice.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
Okay. Rhysand and Feyre's wine scenes. Remember when he was obviously he made a bargain, and she had this like nights when she has to drink the wine, and Rhysand's maid would like paint her stuff, and then she would dance with Rhysand and stuff like that. Thoughts?
It's again going back to that choice thing, and I think that she first didn't have a choice, but then later on she chose. She actually was like she wanted that wine to be washed out, and a lot of people drink wine or alcohol for the same reasons, that they want to loosen up, or they don't want to face the consequences of whatever they're dealing with and escape, right? As someone who doesn't drink, I don't completely understand, but I try to empathize, and I'm like, in that situation, I probably would have drank. Even as someone who doesn't drink, I would want to escape. That's how I feel. And then if I had to dress that way, then body paint would be a great option. I don't know how to take it. I still haven't fully processed that moment. How about you?
I was like, I'm sorry, like what was happening? I think that was like my first initial reaction.
Yeah.
It wasn't so of like having, again, like a choice, because I feel like if we look into that so much of like, oh, like we have a choice on everything, there would be so much problem. and even in life too, you know what I mean? There are really like some things that we just don't have a choice. Like we just have to. And sometimes it's good to also venture and like experience things in a way. And like, okay, like see what happens if you drink that wine, and like It's just like putting yourself out there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she ends up like, in a sense, you know, I wouldn't say liking it, but it wasn't as bad as it was.
Yeah.
For her. For her at least.
Yeah. I think it lessened the trauma for her on being under the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about why they were even under the mountain. Amarantha. She's quite the villain, but
Interesting.
yeah, she's quite the villain.
She's not an effective villain for me.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just not sold.
Interesting. Why?
She's just like a mean girl who probably didn't get what she wanted, and that's it.
Okay.
And then she's probably, you know, like has the source for power, like doing stuff, and so she would. To be an effective villain, you have to be very, very annoying to me. And also, I like when the villains have like a story that is deeper than just what Amarantha has.
Okay. I think that she should have had more of a backstory. That would make me more invested in her as a villainess. But I did feel like the part where she cursed Tamlin to essentially forcing him to either kill off his guards by sending them into the human realm to be killed, or then giving up his own life. That's like a certain level of additional cruelty that I think is really hard to even conjure as a villain. Like, you know, there's like villains where they do evil things, like they will torture someone, they will starve someone, beat someone up. But then there's this whole other level where they're forcing you to make decisions that hurt you both either way.
Like, what is her drive? Like, that's what's also like lacking. Like, what does she actually want?
And that's what I think makes her even more villainous, is that you can't even determine what she wants. It doesn't matter. She's just going to torture you for the sake of torturing you because she can. Yeah. That's how I felt about her. That particular curse was the one that I felt like was the most messed up out of everything that she's done. And then of course putting Jurian into the eye, that's a whole nother level of evil. To subject a being to being like literally on your finger for the rest of their existence. You can't even and that's okay. I will stop bringing it back to choice. But this is the last example of that. And that he can't even end his own life because he's stuck in the ring. So like that's a whole nother level of torture too. That
but also,
she could come up with is such a messed up being.
But also like Jurian has a backstory on why, like, you know, he sort of like deserved to be in that position too.
Oh yeah, quote, air quote. Yeah. But it is like, it just to be able to think of it, to be able to think to do something like that, she's got to be really messed up.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about Amarantha, how about like Amarantha's death? Was it satisfying to you?
No.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like really Tamlin would kill Amarantha.
I know. It was almost trying to give him a redemption arc for being so inactive the whole time and letting Rhysand do the whole.
I wish it was Rhysand.
I wish so too.
I wish it was Rhysand, or even Feyre.
Yeah, or especially Feyre. Yeah,
but Rhysand.
We really agree on that.
Rhysand leaving after everything.
I was torn because, again, right, even by the end of this book, I was still like, Tamlin and her could be endgame, could be. Still not completely convinced, but also not convinced her and Rhysand. But with Rhysand leaving after all that he had done, all he had sacrificed, he needs his own healing. He needs a happy ending, and he didn't get that, essentially. So it was sad. How about you?
It was sad. I don't know. I have a thing when guys would give way to other guys because they think that the girl would be happy with them.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing.
So when it happened with like Rhysand, like he's leaving because he knew that, you know, like obviously Tamlin and Feyre is going to be together again, and he saw how much Feyre loved Tamlin. I was like, oh my gosh, like I hurt
too. I think it makes him a better man. I mean, he was already proving to be a better man in so many ways, but if she loved the guy, then
so let's get to like the favorite moment.
Okay,
just give
one. Okay, well, I guess there weren't too many favorite moments because it was a lot of sadness. But actually, this is an interesting thing because it's not about one of the main characters. It's about Lucien. So I loved when Lucien said, "And among the fairies, lesser and high fae alike, a firm hand is needed. We're too powerful and too bored with immortality to be checked by anything else." I felt like Lucien having said that first shows that he is really perceptive. Like, despite him yielding to Tamlin almost all the time, he has a mind of his own. He recognizes and sees things. But second of all, it set the tone for what it means to be in this fairy realm as someone who's human, as someone who's not a high lord. And I think that then plays, like, when we get to discussions about later in the series, that really sets the tone for other things as well. So that was one. And then I only have two, actually. And then the second one is when they were under the mountain and Tamlin took her to the room and started mad kissing her. I was so angry with him. I just have not gotten over that.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, the surreal encounter.
Ooh.
I think that was like the first time that we see Feyre to be that girl. Like, let me trap the Surya. Like, I could do it. And she did. And even like other Fays were like questioning too, right? Like, how did she do it? And stuff like that. And the fact that that meeting with the Surya actually left so much Easter eggs and like some hints. The Surya literally spilling the tea. We will talk about more later on, but I love that part. And then one of my favorite quotes from this book is that when Tamlin said, "Don't feel bad for one moment about doing what brings you joy." To me, I think this goes like on actually into the rest of the series.
Yeah.
When she finally like chooses her path, chooses the things that she wants to do, the roles that she would step into, I think everything that she does moving forward is what's gonna make her happy as a person, as a Fae.
Yeah, I love that. And that actually, so then I've already mentioned earlier, but that does remind me of that feeling of her expressing joy in seeing art.
And I think it was that. Yeah. Like, it's like, don't feel bad about like, like painting, even if you feel like being spoiled in a sense is something that you don't deserve. It's like, don't feel bad because if it makes you happy, it makes you happy, period.
Yeah.
There's no buts, there's no ifs. Which also begs me to think that even if Tamlin is not endgame, or even if she ends up moving on, there's things that we learn from previous relationships, no matter how bad it ended or no matter how toxic it is.
Yeah.
So,
that we grow as a person, even if the person was toxic or was certain. Yeah.
There would always be learning and like stuff that we learn from them too. So it's not necessarily like 100% really bad.
Yeah.
Or a failure in that sense.
And talking about going back to the surreal though, because if you guys haven't seen it, but posted a text string between us and she referenced, I asked the surreal something. Who is the surreal?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so don't kill me for this because I know that everybody has like different perception about using AI. So there are times that I'm guilty of using AI and I ask AI and instead of me calling AI or like ChatGPT or something, I just call him the surreal because
it's so cute.
I need to ask him like this stuff and I don't feel as bad if I call him this like AI. Okay, well that's it. Don't come for me. It's okay. I mean, like, I'm guilty of it. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna hide it. And I use it responsibly.
Use everything responsibly.
Use everything responsibly and ethically.
Yes.
Okay.
Next. Oh, would you? Yes. Okay.
So we're gonna play a game.
We're gonna play a game.
Is this even a game? Would you call it?
Oh yeah, it's a game.
It's a game.
It's a game.
So Victoria has prepared some questions for me.
And these are under the would you category of questions. So first question.
So hold on. Rules. Is it just yes or no? Or do I have explain or should we just keep on going like fast and then should I explain at the end?
If I'm surprised about one,
you will ask me.
I'll ask you. I'll be like, oh, and then you explicate.
Okay.
So, question 1. Would you have said you loved Tamlin before he sent her back to her human home?
Yes.
I am extremely shocked about this one. Okay. So you would have... Why? Okay, I'm shocked.
I think I am just the type of person who could say I love you right away.
Okay.
This girl falls easy.
If you ask for my opinion, I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think you're very selective, which I think is a very good thing. And girl has high standards.
Okay.
Yes.
I think everyone who reads fantasy has high standards.
Okay. I do give you that. I do give you that. So, number 2, would you have gone under the mountain to save Tamlin?
Yes.
Okay. 3, would you choose to live in the human realm or Prythian?
Prythian.
Oh, of course. I gotta ask harder questions. What am I doing? Number 4. No, actually, I'm gonna skip that because now I know the answer. Oh, this one's a really hard one, potentially. Would you have exposed Claire better to Amarantha if you were Rhysand?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Explain.
I have to do what's necessary to save the people that I...
Right.
Yeah.
Talk earlier. Yep. Okay. Ooh, okay. These last 2 questions. These might hit home a little bit. If it's too personal, let me know. Would you resent your sisters for not providing for you as the youngest?
No.
Okay.
I don't think that it's their obligation.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm very lucky to have sisters who actually provided for me. But I don't think it's ever... I think that's why I'm so grateful for them, is because I see it out of the goodness of their heart more than an obligation or responsibility.
Got sweetie here. And number 7, the last one. Would you resent your father for not stepping up?
Yes. Yes. But there's also a thing called forgiveness. So, redemption, or even without the redemption, it's just forgiving. I think it's a testament to a personal growth
Yeah.
more than the other person. I think it's it's a personal thing. Being able to forgive someone regardless if they apologize for it or if they redeem themselves for it is such a big thing, and something that I was able to kind of learn to navigate through as I get older. So
Good for you.
yeah. Anyways, let's get to the fun part.
I'm inspired by her.
Oh,
I am.
thank you.
I'll remind you more often.
Oh, okay. Let's get to the fun part. Okay, now that we've talked about ACOTAR, can we talk about what it actually becomes? The whole series.
Okay, folks, I was holding in so much because as she said, I cannot take spoilers, but I keep spoiling.
Okay, so quick warning, everyone. We are going into the full series spoiler territory. Okay, so if you haven't read the other books in the series, go.
Safe. Come back. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to Lucien. First, final impression.
Okay. Lucien, I really liked him at the beginning. So much because I felt like he was straightforward. He could be a good friend. Once he actually trusts you as a person, like how loyal he is to Tamlin, I feel like he could be the same for anyone else that he truly trusts. And we slowly see that by the end, where then Feyre becomes another confidant for him. And I think that's important later in the series as we get to learn from Silver Flames, and that he becomes truly a part of the court. Not truly in the sense of deeply integrated, but he's still technically part of the Night Court.
But I think to me, there's still that space in this whole whenever I see okay, Tamlin, this is Tamlin. I feel like there's a space in the middle that I still couldn't figure out about him. It's yeah, and I don't even know what would fill that void for me to see not Tamlin, for Lucien. Sorry, did I say Tamlin the whole time?
I think I was following anyway.
Okay, so Lucien, I couldn't help but to think of what would fill that void for Lucien to be a complete person or being. So to me, it's not. There's so much more to Lucien that I don't understand yet.
It's true. I think he's still very broken, and I would love for him to find true love.
And it's not even love. I feel to find his space.
Yeah, I think
where he truly belongs.
Yes, and he's trying to find that with the Dragon Queen and Jurian, but it's not really working there either. So he tries to find a place for himself with Vasa and Jurian, and it's still not working. He tries to integrate with the Night Court, even without Elain being there and creating this awkwardness to it. He still doesn't really quite fit in.
I think he's a nomad.
Oh, wait, I shouldn't say all, because some people actually love that for themselves.
Absolutely.
And maybe he will find that he loves it too.
But we need that, we need to see him be firm and be okay with it.
Yes.
So I don't mind him being a nomad too. Especially Lucien is pretty likable.
He is likable.
He is likable.
I think he's likable.
That I feel wherever he ventures to, he would thrive in a sense.
Yes. Okay. Tamlin.
Tamlin, from being this like dreamy, overprotective guy into a controlling. What do you even call that when you're like you feel like you're being
Suffocated?
suffocated?
Yeah. I feel like he's also very broken with the whole curse from Amarantha that he had to force everyone to go away. He lost his whole family. He didn't want to be a lord. He wanted to be a warrior. And so he feels very trapped. And then he thinks that he could bring Feyre into his trap, essentially. Feyre could be part of his misery, but then they could bring joy to each other. And then she moves on, and then he feels.
I found the right word.
Okay.
Possessive.
Yes, he's very possessive. Very possessive.
And I think you're kind of right in a sense. Well, actually, you're right in the sense of like, why did he become possessive? Is maybe because he was also like, he also grew up kind of like his life laid out in front of him. So, and felt like, he didn't have control over his own life. So he tries to control as much of others.
Yeah.
Like he was also controlled in the past.
I see that. And I think.
But it's still not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. Absolutely. And that's a good caveat that we bring up. We are not defending his decisions.
Absolutely not.
No, the way that he treated Feyre and the way that he was essentially a traitor. I mean, he was, right? He ratted them out, which caused Nesta and Elain to become Fae. It's not that it's acceptable behavior, nor has he apologized about any of it, right? So I don't see him necessarily having a redemption arc even yet by Silver Flames. We're just trying to empathize with, not empathize. We're trying to see, a backstory for any villain, for example, right? We talked about backstories earlier. We want to see how they became how they became. And I think that's where we're seeing Tamlin becoming possessive.
A question.
Yeah.
Do you think that villains are born villains or made?
Ooh.
Villain.
Well, I'm not sure how deep I can go, but I would say
She's not sure. Wink.
I would say in the case of most fantasy, is the belief that there is an underlying evil regardless. That certain beings are going to exist for the pure sake of being the counterbalance of goodness, that you're going to have evil. And so in terms of Tamlin, I think he was made to be a villain. He was put in the position of we were just talking about, the context made him a villain. So in the sense that he's a sociopath through the environment. Or is that too extreme? I think he's a sociopath. Do you?
I think that's kind of extreme.
Extreme?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least for me. But going back, so just to make my question clear.
Okay.
Are villains or bad people?
People.
Yeah. Just you could draw from real life. Are they born to be bad people, or do you think that they made that choice? They made themselves be bad, or others made them bad later on in life?
I love how I will always sound like I'm dodging a question because I'm there's a spectrum, but I'm going to bring it up again. There's a spectrum. I feel with every being, regardless if you're human, fae, or otherwise, even real or fictional, there's going to be moments where they choose to make poor decisions, and then that makes them evil. And then there's also moments where, because of their upbringing or because they're just purely they were born evil, that their actions they don't even see as evil. And I think it's actually almost in that case, in the latter case of they don't see it as evil, is almost more forgivable than during the times when they actively decide to do something evil. So going back to Amarantha, when she actively decides to curse Tamlin in a way that makes him make a choice between killing, leading to his own death or to the others, is that's a pure evil. Or putting Jurian, not allowing Jurian to make a choice about killing himself, is also this whole nother level of evil. Then I would say someone who's now that we're doing full series, so any of those creatures, the Weaver, is almost born evil. And so then she's almost, in a sense, to me, more forgivable. She kills beings, takes their soul, weaves them into something, but that's the way she was purely made. She can't think otherwise. There's no other way of existence for the Weaver. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
In a sense.
Okay.
I think to me, the thing is even the Weaver could still do good even if he or she was born.
Yeah, and which they do. I mean, the siblings do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Or did he become? He was always a double agent. That was okay.
Did you like that about Jurian, though?
I did. No, actually, I saw it coming. But I feel like I liked it because I feel like it almost wouldn't have made sense otherwise. In the sense that, like, why would he suddenly change just because he was locked up by Amarantha? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it does make sense.
I feel like the way that they portrayed him, again, was almost kind of like another villain where, like Amarantha, where we don't even really understand why he's evil.
I guess to me, by the time that there's just so many that is like playing double agent.
Yeah.
I didn't end up like loving. Because I feel like one or two might be good.
But so many,
like Jurian, Tamlin almost was playing. Well,
yeah,
he
almost.
was
One of the queens, the one who ended up dying.
Yep, and Eris.
Yeah, Eris. Well, I guess yeah.
In a different concept. Yeah, but yeah, he's also like playing double agent. You know, it's like hiding stuff, and like there might be more.
So, in a sense, do you feel like it was that trope was overused?
Yeah.
I felt like that too.
Yeah, I felt like it.
Yeah. And then that kind of downplays Rhysand's double agency in the sense that, like, he had to sacrifice so much more, I feel, than a lot of other people. Yes, Jurian was locked up for much longer, let's be real, but he also got caught. Whereas Rhysand actively made the decision to bring himself under the mountain and leave everyone else behind to protect Valaris. And his sacrifice, I feel like, is almost undermined by the fact that so many people are double agents, right? So I didn't like that for that reason too. Yeah. What was next?
Nesta?
I was so angry with her. That one line where she was like, I think Feyre told her to cut wood, and then she was just like, but you're better at it. How about you cut it? And it's like, Feyre's doing everything, Nesta. Like, you feel
That's
so
not how she said it.
No, how'd she say it?
But you're so much better at it, Feyre. But you do it.
Does everyone like Jed's Nesta voice? She's working on that. So yeah, I felt very much like she's just so entitled. And then yet, like, she can somehow be so angry with Feyre. Where I'm like, where's this anger coming from? Like, Feyre did literally everything for you. You don't have to thank her. You don't have to apologize to her. But at least don't be so mean and rude to her. And yet she was.
Yeah.
And then by Silver Flames, I did feel like the apology I accepted. If I could accept an apology on behalf of Feyre, I accepted. I don't know. How about you?
I think that Nesta, I was kind of like, whatever, you know, I don't love you, but I also like don't hate her in the beginning of ACOTAR. It's like, okay, like she's one of those, you know, sisters who probably wouldn't even like do anything, which there are people like that. So whatever. I was surprised when she went looking for Feyre.
Oh yeah, I was surprised too.
I was surprised, but again, like if you're a sister, you probably would do it. So nothing special. She got so annoying, especially in Frost and Starlight.
Oh yes,
she was so annoying when she became an alcoholic
on Feyre and Rhysand's dime.
Yeah, and like even had the urge to like get a new apartment because she couldn't stand like living with all of them. That's entitlement.
It was a whole nother level.
So yeah, I hated her there. Silver Flames, I feel like we're sort of like forced to like forgive her and like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing we can do. Like we have to kind of understand her at that point because it's a whole book about understanding her. So like, of course we have to at that point, or we don't have a heart of stone unlike Tamlin. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't think I could handle that kind of person. So whatever.
I don't think I could be friends with a Nesta. I said it.
Can you be a Nesta?
No.
Do you think I could be a Nesta?
You have the fire. I don't think you have the entitlement.
I'm flattered. Okay, well, let's go. Elain.
Yes, Elain.
There's not much to say.
There's not much to say, but I would say, if there was something to say, that she was passive. She was passive from almost beginning to end, right? Like during the war, she definitely played a part. Silver Flames, she was more assertive, but I wouldn't say she was ever like a truly active character.
Not yet.
Well, I mean, the series is not over.
But I think she has a potential to be.
Okay.
Absolutely. The fact that she's a seer already made up my mind that she's going to be like some sort of a key to something that we just don't know yet.
That's true. I think that power gives her the potential. I think it's a matter of whether she could, if she can get over her former life, get over like Nesta did, at least accept, right, that she is Fae now and that she has a power. If she can truly embrace that, or actually that's a whole nother level. Let's say accept at least, right? Then she could actually utilize and harness that power.
I think we're already seeing that happen in Silver Flames. It wasn't just like explained much, but I think it's already happening in the background of actually like she accepted it more than Nesta.
I think she did accept it more earlier on, but then Nesta excelled at it after she embraced it. And we haven't seen that yet from Elain.
Yeah.
But there's, like you were saying, there's potential.
The power is really strong.
The power is really strong. I would say maybe I should think of it slightly differently. I should change my frame of reference. She's not a very assertive person, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have a mind of her own.
Right.
And that tends to be of like very introverted people. Like I myself am an introverted person. And so how would I find opportunities, let's say, to make myself more of a player in this whole situation? That is what I look forward to see with Elain.
Got you.
Yeah. And maybe it's because she's so introverted, the only way will be through her POV. But if not, let's see what other ways she can be more active as a player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Last one, High Lords.
Ooh, you go first.
I love the High Lords.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that we saw them under the mountain, sort of weak.
Yeah.
Because we also see them to not have the absolute power. That puts us in like it's a perfect setup of like what's coming in the next books, of like the threat, and like that they are beatable.
Yes.
And we also saw the goodness of their heart.
The fact that they were willing to imbue her with power is already a big deal.
Yeah.
Because they could just have done nothing and then walked out. So,
I love the resurrection part.
And it was powerful. It almost gave me this visual of like everyone's just pouring in. I like that thought. So for the High Lords, I love that we get to see the vulnerability immediately. Sets the tone for the rest of the series for sure. I also love, though, that we get to see the shifts in dynamics between the High Lords, in the sense that, like, at that very moment, they were able to come together and imbue her with power to make her be able to live again. But at the same time, after the war, even though during the war they were mostly, for the most part, unified enough to like beat the army, but not enough so that afterward the peace talks are not simple. They're very convoluted. Everyone's still trying to look out for their own best interests.
Yeah.
The wall is down now, right? Expansion of territory is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, this is a point I forgot to bring up earlier. This concept of immortals still needing to find riches, like they need to pay people, buy things for themselves to consume. And then second is a hoarding of land. It's interesting because when you we see in other fantasy series whereby there'll be like essentially you're a higher being, you have no need for anything, right? You have a sense of release. What is property? What is power? Like, it doesn't matter because I just exist. Whereas these High Lords tend to actually like try to like assert that and like hoard even more, like become like want even more and more.
I think it's a competition also for power. It's like who's the best High Lord sort of thing.
Ooh, okay. So you're saying that like it's like almost like a hierarchy in their mind, like, that they want to be the top lord, and that's how they assert that they're top lords.
And it's also like what's going to be written in the history books.
Okay, so legacy is a big deal. Yeah. And that's where we get into like how each High Lord perceives what their legacy is to be. And it's so different for each of the High Lords that I was like, there's so many ways this could play out. Or like even like sequels or like offshoot stories that could happen. She builds quite the interesting world.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's get into the second game of this episode. It's truth or false of some of the hot takes. Are you ready?
Oof, I hope so.
Tamlin was never the one.
Oh, I'll have to accept that as a truth. He was never the one. Okay, because so now we're talking full series, right? At the beginning, it was like, oh, I could see her as Endgame. He's providing her everything that she needs to be, like have
So
her
is
soft
it-
girl.
so-
He was never the one, so it's true, right? That statement is true.
So when you read it,
The first book. When I read the first book, I was like, she loves him. He protects her. He gives her what she needs. Soft girl era. Live that rest of your life happy and paid. Sure, I'm happy for that.
but he was never the one.
But I don't know. Like, I feel like at the end, he could be Endgame of book 1. But then obviously we know with the rest of the series, he's not. What you're saying, and we're going back earlier, is that there is potential for her to be more. Do you have to pursue that?
But is it because I feel like is your truth because like he is not the one or he was never the one?
That's an interesting clarification. So he not the one or never the one? He could not be the one, never the one. No, like he
So
could
it's a
have been.
false.
False. He could have been the one. Could have been.
Okay, so it's a false.
Yes, it's a false.
Rhysand carried the second half.
Of
Book
book 1.
one.
Oh, absolutely. We had talked about how Tamlin was passive.
Truth.
Truth.
ACOTAR is a setup book.
True.
We were all victims of book 1, Tamlin.
True.
Tamlin tried.
To make it work or to strive. In general, not enough. So false.
Not enough. Lucien should have done more for Feyre.
True. He should have done more.
Feyre confused gratitude for love.
Yes. But it could be another type of can it be another type of love? Okay, fine. I won't stretch that. Yeah, she confused it. True.
Rhys manipulated Feyre just as much as Tamlin did.
Ooh. In book 1 specifically or overall?
Whatever.
Okay. No, actually, it's still false. Tamlin manipulated her more.
Tamlin was a red flag from the beginning.
Yes. True.
All right, let's get to the fun part.
Okay.
The Easter eggs. We have like 3,
Yes.
or at least for me, I have 3.
Okay, and I added a few.
The first one's obviously There You Are. I've been looking for you.
Oh.
When that made sense in book 2, my heart melted. And I'm probably going to talk about this again in book 2.
Of course you are.
But oh my God.
I know.
Oh, that was like, oh my God, Rhysand is like the guy of our dreams. That's so sweet.
It was so sweet. Heart-meltingly sweet.
Is it possible to like find that type of thing in real life?
I don't think so.
Would like real life people actually like leave Easter eggs?
Well, there's the concept of manifestation.
Yeah, but like they would say something and then like it would just matter like later on in life.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Mhm.
happened to me many times. Yeah. But I guess because I keep thinking about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another Easter egg is like Suriel saying "Stay with the High Lord."
Ooh. And how we interpret it again and then again.
We thought it was Tamlin.
Then we thought it was Tamlin. And
but it's actually
Rhysand.
Rhysand.
yeah.
So it was like destined. And then the third one is Feyre painting stars.
Okay, that's probably of the 3, that's my favorite one. Maybe because of the moment in which it was revealed too. Because it meant so much more to her by that time. Like she fell so much harder for him. They'd gone through so much hardship by then. And then he reveals it. Like, how can one not melt from that?
But I think we also saw the Easter eggs for like Nesta as well with the flames.
Yes. Yes, we did. Yeah. And actually, that's interesting because those are like different types of Easter eggs. One is like her mate, and then the flame is Nesta's power. Or could it be more?
But also, like, I think it's just her mate. I think because she becomes High Lady of the Night Court too.
That's true.
I think it's more of a personal thing more than the mate thing.
Ooh, you're right. Scratch what I just said. Yes.
Mm.
High lady right here.
Submit to your High Lady.
Ooh, sexy voice. Sexy voice.
Okay, what are your Easter eggs?
So my first one, and maybe these aren't really Easter eggs, but when she feels calmer, imagining darkness and starlight under the mountain. Basically, they go into like a memory together, and then she was basically like breaking down physically, and then he calms her with the darkness and his shadows, and then it's just like, oh, this actually feels nice, even though I'm technically under a mountain. Like darkness can be soothing, like that concept. Ooh, yeah. And then later on, obviously, it plays out. She's High Lady, and then she's with Rhysand. So that sense of like she's always felt really contained and felt very hopeless and in a figurative dark place. But then somehow darkness can become a very safe and reassuring place later on. And then the next one is the tattoo. She has the eye until Silver Flames.
Mm-hmm.
And that eye, we learn, is his way of seeing her, like communicating with her. But then later on, it's just become a symbol. Like they don't need it anymore because there's so much more because they're mates. And so that concept of like, he was always there and she just didn't know it. He was always thinking and supporting her and being able to talk to her.
At that point, I was like, what's with the eye?
Yeah, right? Another one, well, okay, this is not really an Easter egg, or Tamlin's red flags. Then him being overbearing and overprotective means that later on he's going to betray them in order to take her. And finally, Feyre redefining love by solving the riddle. So the answer to the riddle being love, because in the past, her idea of love was what Tamlin provided her, which is like a place of safety. Not having to worry or sacrifice anymore. Comfort, providing for her family so that she doesn't have to do that. The riddle, I think, was a foreboding for later, or maybe a foreshadowing for later on when she realizes love with Rhysand is about being able to be her best and strongest self. Like being equals to your partner, not being like protected by your partner solely, right? And I think that's why the riddle was important. Yeah. Okay, so
I love that you said that.
yeah?
I literally was just like, really? Like, love is the answer? But when you actually think about how love could mean differently, it's like you think you know what love is until you don't.
And then you do, and then you're like,
yeah. It's a great point.
makes me giddy.
Great point. Okay, so given that, did your opinion change after finishing the series about the book?
About book one.
Yes.
Yes.
Even if you already loved it.
Even if I already loved it.
Huh.
It made me love it more.
Wow.
Yes. Because it was so much more rewarding to see where everyone came from. Not everyone, at least Feyre, where she came from and where she is now. It's such a huge character growth to finally feel almost, at least me feeling like, okay, that's where like Tamlin could become this. I'm glad we avoided that bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Felt good too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's why I liked it more. But I did start to see it more as like a prequel than a book one. How about you?
Yes, my opinion changed. I hated some parts of it that I felt like, why is it here? And that all of a sudden now is making sense. I didn't see it as a prequel, but I see it as a setup.
Okay.
I feel like it was a necessary storyline for what's about to happen. I like the fact that we were given a love story that's not supposed to be endgame.
Okay, that I think for a lot of our listeners might be a hot take because a lot of us felt betrayed. I know some people had tattooed Tamlin's name.
No way!
I know.
No way.
And actually I agree with you though, but I'll still let you be the one to explain why you think it was a good journey or a worthwhile journey.
I think also the fact that when you see two beings fall in love and you think that it's so perfect and it's so aw, but then it's also with the wrong person. And then after that, you find that same person learning to love the real destined person for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, imagine what you could give to the wrong person. But like, if you could give this much to the wrong person, how much more you could give to the right one.
That is so beautiful. What a deep lesson to take away from that. Absolutely.
So if you're with the wrong person and scared to like love again or something, like always think about that.
She keeps dropping these inspirational quotes left and right.
I'm a grandma. I am your go-to grandma for whatever life advice you need.
She's the surreal.
I am the surreal. The real surreal. I'm gonna change my handle to the real surreal.
Wow. Now that I think about that, what you're saying, and I mean, like, if we're talking SJM whole universe eventually, we start to see that in the rest of her series too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a trope. I mean, it is in a sense a trope, but like the lesson that you took from it is so much greater than that. Wow. Okay, folks, I'm moved.
Mic drop.
Dropped.
What was the moment when you said, "Okay, now I'm in"?
I'm in. Oh, like I'm dedicated to the series. You're probably going to be like, really? That's it? For me, is when I fell in love with Feyre is when that point about feeling so much joy and being able to see the bend to the world in the art. Because I feel like for me, one of my creative outlets is reading books. And to be able to kind of like, in a meta sense of it, have the book reflect on art itself in such a beautiful way, to me, like, says something about that character that makes me fall in love with them so much more.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to be able to experience art in general, that level of joy and like passion.
Okay. Interesting.
How about you?
It is very early in the book.
It is. It's very early.
Mine too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense of like, I'm not saying I liked, you know how I feel about ACOTAR
Yeah.
1, but in a sense of like, okay, like I'm in, like I could read this.
Yeah.
When I found out about Feyre having a love interest / like casual sex with a guy from the human guy.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I did not expect that.
Yeah, because I love female characters that are just like like not weak, not closed off. Like I feel like this is someone who's like, okay, like she knows what's up. Like this is the reality, like no writing about this character that like making her like, like the sweet soft girl of like, sheltered and So I feel like that was like, okay. She knows what she needs. She's open.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't feel bad about about who she is, sort of way. Like sure, like her circumstances are challenges, but like that would only make her stronger, But that like it's not as if like she's a frail being.
Right.
Like okay, like I'm in for this person. Like she seems like she owns being a woman, being herself.
That sounds sexy.
Now let's get to the final ratings.
Out of 5, you go first.
4.
Wait, really? Guys, I am so shocked.
Why? I thought it was going to be lower. In my defense, I don't think I've ever rated a book lower than a 3.5.
Hey,
I feel like if I would put lower than 3.5, I would have DNF'd it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know I keep shifting. To me, I talk so much about a spectrum and I still shift on the spectrum. As of now, after this discussion, I give it a 4.
Really?
Yeah, but I do give lower than a 3 for some books. That's
Okay.
fair.
So 4 is pretty high for you.
4 is pretty high.
Interesting.
I gave it more based on our discussion and based on reading the whole series.
Got it. Okay. I am basing it off when I was reading it. So I think in a sense that rating was influenced also with what I read beforehand.
And if you guys are listening, we read the Empyrean series right
Mhm.
before this.
And People We Meet on Vacation. That one.
Okay. Which I also like. All right. And maybe we should do an episode on that. Does everyone want an episode on that?
Want a little romance episode?
Me.
She will probably read it in one seating for like 4 hours because she's so fast.
I
Okay.
eat books.
In 5 books, where does it fit?
That's so tough. I don't think it's a tough answer for you, though, so you can go first.
Oh, it's my 5th. My least favorite.
Your least favorite. Yeah. Okay. I would say it's my second to least favorite.
I think I know what your least favorite is.
Do you want to say it?
Frost and Starlight.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I know. It's going to be, people are going to be like, are you serious? I am serious. I'm serious. But we'll get to that later.
Okay. Next week, obviously, we're going to talk about book 2 of the ACOTAR series, A Court of Mist and Fury. So stay tuned.
And we'll see you all soon, besties.
Bye.
Bye.